Yeah, my name's Abdi, or Abdi Hayle. You can call me Abdi. I am a property sourcer and a property manager now as well, specializing in social housing. I come from a sales background. I've been an account manager for a multinational before finding a part-time job in the care sector, which now turned into a career. I'm also a registered manager for children's services, of course looking to become like Webster and some of the other care directors here. So yeah, but as it stands, I run a property sourcing agency. Yes. So what do? We deliver a specialist sourcing service for care providers, meaning you let us know what you're looking for, which care sector you're in, and we know exactly what you need. We also work around your budget, the locations you're based in, and we can help identify the type of properties that would work best for you. How do we do this? Well, by being the most connected, by making the most phone calls, by being the most informed, by attending lots of property networking events similar to this one, building bridges with developers, estate agents, landlords, you name it, we know them. So yeah, just I think if I use this, maybe I can, there we go, I can do it myself. Yeah, so just a question. How would you go about finding a property? Well, what are some of the ways that you would imagine you can find a landlord that's interested? Any guesses? Stanford, he knows. Stanford is a property investor and mortgage broker, so yeah, he definitely knows. So, sorry, you were saying? Gumtree, that's a good one. Anyone else? Zoopla? Rightmove, On the Market, Open Rent, Rightmove, yes. You should try architects as well. Yes, try architects. Property developers as well. They're also a hidden gem. There are many ways for you to find those who could give you a property to use for your care services. It's all about compliance at the end of the day. So you need to check two boxes. Number one, does their lender permit care sector uses, and do they have the right insurance or the building insurance? That's easily adjustable, but it's the lender's permission that you definitely do have to keep an eye out for. So yeah, we've got over £2 million worth of assets under management. We've sourced over 100 properties since we got started, and we work with hundreds of care providers nationwide that are both Ofsted registered, CQC registered, including some of the biggest providers in the UK, like the likes of Serco, who we work quite heavily with. So some of the CQC supported living standards. So this is a bit of an oversimplification. Of course, the guidance you can find in the link I've left in the bottom there. I'll also give the PowerPoint presentation to the guys for you to get a copy off of. But essentially, there are two models that you can go for. One is referred to as the cluster model. You might know it as a HMO, where communal spaces and facilities like toilets, bathrooms are shared. Local authorities are moving away from the cluster model to keep you informed. They are starting to transition more towards the self-contained units model, which is individual one-bedroom flats in a big sort of compound where service users can be given sort of personalized care environments. Reason being, it's to avoid incidents and to give everybody their own personal space. So if you're going to supported living, do keep in mind that a lot more local authorities are shying away from the cluster model or the HMO model, and they want more and more self-contained units. Self-contained units can get quite expensive if you're a new provider. In that case, you should try and aim for a bungalow, 3 to 4 bedroom bungalow. You get the best of both worlds then, and you'll have a cost-effective approach of getting into supported living, without, of course, the requirements changing on you after you've made a commitment. So yes, self-contained units is what you need to be going for if you're a supported living provider. Ofsted property standards, again, oversimplification, but just to give you an idea, individual rooms, lockable storage as well is starting to become mandatory for Ofsted registered activities. Again, communal areas, very important. They want to see a space where service users can come together, conversate, engage in activities, and of course have a homey environment. So also one thing you'll find is if you decide to go for a HMO that's been designed for students or professionals, the communal space is often sacrificed for an additional bedroom. For a student home that conveniently has the HMO license, it doesn't meet all the boxes for supported living. So just because you've saved money on the fire doors that you would have to otherwise install, it doesn't mean that you know, it's the best fit for your use case. So this is a bit of a table I had the opportunity to put together while I was waiting. Gives you an idea of what is required where. As you can see at the top, for children's services, you need to have the fire doors, HMO license. They're actually exempt from it because it's considered one household, and C2 planning would be required. Supported accommodation, slightly different. Care leavers housing, again slightly different, and we have supported living right at the bottom. So if you want to take a picture, this is your chance. But yeah, I'm going to keep it short and sweet. If there's any oh yes, affordability. If you're a new provider, you need to remember this. You will not pass affordability. You need to have at least 30 times the rent in profits that were declared in the previous trading year. So in your last filings, you need to have declared 30 times the rent in profit. So if the rent is £1,000 in your last filings, if you didn't declare £30,000 in rent, your company will not pass affordability. Then you need to transition into plan B, which is using a guarantor. A guarantor needs to have 33 times the rent in annual disposable income. Now, disposable means after fixed costs. If there's a mortgage, there's a car payment, you can deduct that from it. So that's, again, something you need to remember. But also, if you're a property owner, they put a mark on the property saying if this individual doesn't fulfill their responsibilities or the company doesn't fulfill their obligations, then they may come after the property as collateral. But again, if A and B fail, usually plan C is rent paid in advance. The only issue with rent paid in advance is you won't have the security of a long-term let. So if you pay 6 months in advance, it's a 6-month rolling contract. So especially with children's services, you need to show at least a 5-year lease. Correct me if I'm wrong, most of my providers would like request a 5-year lease. So you won't be able to tick some of your due diligence boxes if you're unable to use plan A or plan B to pass affordability. And again, 6 months rent in advance or 12 months rent, it's a big lump sum to part with. Ideally, you'd want to avoid it. So try and go for the guarantor option. That is the best option if you're a new provider. It might mean you use 2 people as a guarantor whose combined income equals 33 times the rent. So yeah, these are things we help out with, of course, but again, it is wise to keep this in mind in preparation for it. Some closing remarks. It is quite difficult to get started when it comes to supported living or supported accommodation. You may sit on an empty property for a while and you need to plan for it. How are you going to finance this property while you wait for your Ofsted registration? There's a 12-month backlog now, so 12 months worth of rent at the very least you'll need to fund. Or supported living, you might see on an empty house there as well. CQC, I don't think the similar backlog exists, but the vacancy periods do exist. So you need to prepare for that eventuality. So thank you very much for being here, guys, and for listening. I do hope I didn't take too much time. And yeah, I hope you have a great evening. Thank you.